In this video, we're gonna talk about something that plays a huge role in our daily lives, and that is getting things done. You know that feeling when there's a task you've been putting off for so long, whether it's as small as cleaning your room, sorting out your emails, or even much bigger, more time consuming. I call it the frustration cycle, the regret, the endless loop of procrastination, where the more you avoid it, the worse it gets, and the worse it gets, the more you avoid it. It's an endless loop, and we've all been stuck at some point. But today we are not here to beat ourselves up over it. Today we are here to break that cycle. And before you take it personally, trust me, every single person goes through the same experience. The only difference is that some people know how to break free from it, while others get stuck in it. And that feeling of getting stuck isn't something to take lightly. It can seep into every aspect of your life, holding you back from every opportunity that comes your way. Today we're gonna go through 5 steps to escape that loop and start making real progress. And make sure that you stick around until the end, because the final step is the real game changer. The one thing that could completely shift your perspective on how you get things done. So the first step is the 5-minute rule. Let's say you have a task that you've been avoiding, regardless if it's something small or a bigger task that needs more time and effort from your side. Instead of overthinking it, just set a timer for 5 minutes and start working on it. When the timer goes off, you have the choice to stop, if you want. Now this might not seem much, but hear me out. Once you start, momentum kicks in. 5 minutes turns into 10, 10 into 30, and before you know it, the task is done. But beyond just getting things done, this simple exercise rewires the way you approach tasks. You will start understanding how momentum works and break free from the habit of avoidance. No more overthinking, no more procrastination, only action. Second step is action leads to motivation. You have to understand that motivation isn't what gets you started, action is. And once you take action, motivation follows. One of the biggest drivers of motivation is the results you create from small, consistent steps. Think of it like running a 10-kilometer marathon. You start fresh, feeling good, hydrated, but once you get to the 9-kilometer mark, your legs feel heavy, fatigue kicks in, you're dehydrated, you even want to quit. But would you actually stop, knowing that there's 1 kilometer left to the finish line? Of course not. That final stretch feels tough, but the progress you've already made keeps you going. This is exactly how action fuels motivation. The more you see progress, the more driven you become to push forward. The step 3 is removing physical clutter. A clear space leads to a clear mind. As simple as that. You can't expect yourself to focus on an important task while your desk is buried on piled up papers. You can't sit down to write, create, or even think clearly when there's a mountain of clothes on your bed screaming for attention. How long are you going to ignore it? Or if you're avoiding it, what's your plan? Expecting someone to come magically just clean them for you? For sure not gonna happen. Taking a few minutes to tidy up your workspace or your room removes all the distractions and gives you a clear starting point. Remember, when your environment is in order, your mind always follows. Step 4 is asking yourself, what would X do? Think of a mentor or someone you admire. Doesn't matter, a relative, a friend, a role model, maybe even a public figure. And ask yourself, how would they handle the situation that you are in right now? Would they procrastinate? Would they leave it for tomorrow? Or would they sit around waiting for someone else to do it for them? Take a moment to picture that person and ask yourself, what mindset would they have while doing that task? How would they push themselves through it? This simple shift of perspective helps you step outside your excuses and start acting in a third-person point of view. As we mentioned earlier, every single person faces these moments of resistance. But the key here is not to avoid them. It is to break those moments of laziness and replace them with productive momentum. And here we are at the final step, removing digital clutter. This one deserves a special category on its own, because unlike the other steps, you need to keep this one in check constantly. As technology advances and becomes a bigger part of our daily lives, it is a double-edged sword. Helpful when used right, but a massive distraction when misused. So how do you stay in control? Very simple. When you're working on something that requires your full attention, put your phone on silent, or even better on airplane mode. If websites are the issue, try to use web blockers. Otherwise, there's no point of closing your phone and scrolling social media on your computer. And when it comes to managing digital space, try to keep open only the relevant tabs on your computer. This way, every time you look at the screen, you remind yourself of the things that needs to be done. It's like filtering your digital environment, keeping what serves you and cutting out the rest. At the end of the day, no matter how many steps we break down, the choice is yours to make. You can keep these steps highlighted on your desk, on your fridge, whatever works for you. But what really matters is putting them into action. So next time you catch yourself putting off a task, remind yourself of that procrastination cycle that we spoke about. Break the loop and start making real changes in your daily routine. Thank you for watching.